When Ivanka Trump tried to out-talk Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett on live TV, she thought her polished charm would win the crowd. But 10 seconds later, Jasmine dropped one calm line that made Ivanka freeze mid-sentence, and the entire audience erupted in disbelief.
Seen the illegal firings and the illegal rifts, and we've seen all the court cases, and we've seen them have to go back because they're idiots and don't know who they're firing, and then they're like, oh, never mind, I may need you back. So, this is just another excuse for them to do the very inhumane things that they want to do.
That day, Washington, D.C. didn't feel like the Capitol. It felt like an arena. The kind of tension that hums through the air before a storm. Cameras rolling, seats packed, 2 women, 2 worlds, and 1 stage. Ivanka sat poised, flawless hair, calm eyes, every gesture rehearsed to perfection. She embodied the image of elegance, still, controlled, untouchable. Across from her sat Jasmine Crockett, fierce, unshaken, her posture relaxed, but her presence impossible to ignore. The moderator welcomed them both, and the debate began. Ivanka spoke first. Her voice smooth, every word wrapped in the perfect tone of practiced diplomacy. She talked about grace, patience, leadership, about how America was thriving. Where Washington chooses sides, our president chooses common sense. Where politicians choose party, he chooses people. It was the kind of speech that photographs well, the kind you hear and forget 10 seconds later. The audience listened politely, nodding out of habit, but beneath the surface you could feel it. Something wasn't landing. Something about her tone felt distant, scripted. Then Jasmine adjusted her microphone. No smile, no showmanship, just quiet control. She began softly. Grace doesn't mean silent, and patience doesn't mean waiting forever for things that should have changed long ago. The room shifted, eyes turned. Jasmine wasn't reciting lines. She was speaking from somewhere deeper. She talked about teachers buying their own supplies, veterans driving hours just to cast a vote, families choosing between rent and food. Leadership, she said, isn't about standing above people and telling them to work harder. It's about standing beside them and saying, I see you, I hear you. The audience clapped, softly at first, then louder. Ivanka smiled tightly, but that smile didn't reach her eyes. She leaned forward, calm, composed. Congresswoman, your passion is admirable, but we must remember, America isn't a disaster some make it out to be. Much of the negativity we hear comes from foreign voices, mostly African or international critics spreading misinformation. And just like that, the temperature dropped. The audience froze. Even the moderator's cue cards shook slightly. Jasmine didn't move. She didn't blink. She just looked at Ivanka, the kind of look that says, I heard you, and now I'm about to make you wish you didn't. When Jasmine finally spoke, her tone was soft, but razor-sharp. Perspective, she said, depends on where you're standing. From a penthouse, the world looks perfect, but from the street, breathing in dust, fighting to make rent, the world looks a little different. A murmur rippled through the audience. You say everything's fine, but I have to ask, fine for who? Because for a lot of us, fine stopped being good enough a long time ago. Ivanka's polished expression started to falter. Jasmine leaned closer, her voice calm, almost kind. You mention foreign voices spreading lies. I've met those people, Ivanka. They're not lying. They're telling their truth, the kind of truth that makes the comfortable uncomfortable. The crowd was dead silent. Then a few claps. Then more. And then Jasmine paused, a long, deliberate silence. Then she turned to Ivanka and said, quietly, Tell Barron you're his real mom. Gasps. Every head in the studio snapped toward the stage. Ivanka froze, color draining from her face. That's absurd, she said, laughing nervously. Jasmine didn't flinch. "Maybe," she replied, "but you seemed so sure about other people's stories, I just wanted to see how it feels when someone questions yours." The crowd was stunned, a mix of shock and awe. Even the camera operators looked at each other like, did that really just happen? Ivanka tried to recover. "I didn't come here to be insulted," she said stiffly. Jasmine smiled faintly. "And yet," she said, "you've managed to insult a whole lot of them who don't have your privilege." That line hit like thunder. The audience erupted, clapping, cheering, even a few standing up. Ivanka's jaw tightened. "Privilege is an excuse people use to justify failure." Jasmine didn't miss a beat. "If that's what you believe, then maybe you've been privileged so long you've forgotten what struggle looks like." It was over. The crowd roared. Ivanka tried to speak again, but no one was listening. Jasmine wasn't finished, though. She looked out at the audience, calm, deliberate. Leadership isn't about comfort, it's about courage. And if you can't carry the weight of people's struggles, you're not leading, you're just standing in the way. The applause was deafening now. Even the moderator was clapping. Ivanka sat still, staring ahead, that familiar smile gone. Her silence said everything. Jasmine slowly set down her microphone, looked across the table, and nodded once.
Many of his followers agree with this. And I am thinking to myself, how is it that you can call yourself American or patriotic when you literally don't understand who we are as Americans, when you literally are okay with throwing out the Constitution?
The camera zoomed in on her face, calm, unbothered, victorious. In that moment, the whole room knew it. The internet would know it next. Jasmine Crockett didn't just win a debate, she rewrote the rules. Later that night, clips flooded social media. Some called it the moment elegance met truth. Others called it the day Jasmine silenced the Dynasty. Whatever you called it, you couldn't deny what happened. Jasmine Crockett didn't just challenge power, she exposed it. And as Ivanka's polished composure cracked under the heat of real accountability, one thing became painfully clear. America doesn't want rehearsed lines anymore. They want real voices, the kind that make the powerful uncomfortable, the kind that make history. Jasmine Crockett wasn't playing politics that day. She was teaching a masterclass in courage, in truth, in what it means to speak for the people, not above them. Because leadership isn't about titles or last names or carefully curated smiles. It's about standing in the storm and saying what others are too scared to say. And that's exactly what Jasmine did. When Ivanka Trump tried to outtalk Jasmine Crockett, she didn't just lose a debate, she lost her image of control. And in one viral moment, America saw who really held the mic.